Funniest thing happened at the church at school the other day. I happened to be sitting in for Diane while I was secretary. And yes, I was at her desk, and Miss Bethany Jones came in to share with her mother. Now, Bethany's a theatrical person. I think she's going to be probably in some big play in New York. You'll see her on the screen. She's sharing with her mother about almost getting Gary locked up. So I stopped what I was doing and began to listen. When they got through getting in on just parts of the conversation, Cindy turned to me and shared with me the rest of the story. Seems like Gary forgot his book bag. He may have done it intentionally. If I had a girl that looked like his, I could get mine on occasion or two, just so I could get to see her before I went to school. And by the way, I did. You can thank me later. Seems like the story was, Gary called Bethany. Bethany said, well, I'll call Mama so I can go by and pick him up and carry him to get his book back and bring him back to school. She said, no. Cindy said, well, how? And I asked their permission, Miss Jones, did I share this? Said, I will go get him. Bethany called Gary back. Said, Gary, Mama's coming to get you. Start walking. She'll pick you up. Bad connection. While he's walking, county cop pulls up beside him, turns on the lights. Now, this doesn't look good. A teenager walking away from the high school just before or after 8 o'clock in the morning. What would you think? Word has it that he called Bethany back, and while he was standing there with the cop, she told him to run. Now, I don't know whether that's the truth or not. You'll have to ask her. Of course, they got the book bag, got him back to school, everything was straightened out. I looked up. I was looking at them, and that dawned on me, because I was still thinking, meditating on this song. And I said, you know what? I've got a passage of scripture for you, Bethany. And I looked at her and I said, listen, blessed is the man that walks not in the counsel of the ungodly. Get it? Now, that's not to say that Miss Bethany Jones is ungodly by any means. But that is a good illustration of what takes place in our lives. Because of all of the media, do you know what it means, what the counsel of the ungodly is? I asked this question to our group. It would amaze you how many people had to stop and really, really think about what the counsel of the ungodly is. How are you going to walk in it if you don't know what it is? The problem with the church today is we don't know what it is. The problem with our family lives today is we don't know what it is. It's the problem with our children today. We don't know what's happening with them. I can tell you the biggest, most of their problem today is the lack of intentional discipline in the home. You hear what I say? Intentional, consistent discipline in the home. Why is it that we have 14-year-olds walking into schools and shooting up the schools? Did you see the picture on TV the other day of the 14-year-old boy that had all those guns in his room? I can tell you, I've raised a son before, and I will guarantee you, I knew what was in his room. Even when he was 18, I knew what was in his room. When he was 18, I knew where he was at. The ungodly counsel that we're walking in today, people, It's the media, the newspapers that we're reading, the TV that we're watching, the computer crap that is being placed across the screens in our rooms of our children, and the parents are allowing it to happen and allowing their children to watch it. The ungodly counsel is infiltrating your mind when you are even not aware of it. You turn on the TVs, excuse me, nothing but trash. You pick up the newspaper, lo and behold, out of all of the people in the world that I thought would have more sense than to put their stamp of approval on the homosexual society in our society today would be Dear Adam. But unfortunately, the first of the week came out in favor of same-sex marriage in the homosexual society. Now they've invited her to speak. And she's going to. Dear Adam, of all people. Ungodly counsel. When we walk in that ungodly counsel, you are going to find yourself no place else, Christian, sinner, than, what did it say? Standing in the paths of sinners. Now, I had the opportunity to walk in some of that counsel, like Gary back there on occasion when I was a young man, and found myself in none other place than out at the smoking ring in Dorman High School, standing in it and with them. And let me tell you, out at the smoking ring, out back at Dorman High School, there was no disciplined authoritarians out there, just students. You could find yourself getting into some good stuff, some ungodly stuff out there, standing in it. And before long, while you were standing in the paths of those sinners and working with them in their devious ways, sooner or later, I found myself, as you will find yourself, sitting at the judgment seat of one Alan Clark, the principal, after sitting in it. You know what it means to be scornful? Nor sits in the seat of the scornful. Do you notice the degradation and the descent of it?